Hello everybody, my name is Lemonade, I also go by Lemon. I'm your coach of the Sacramento Surge, and today we have got week 1 of the NDUL. This week we are facing off against Coach Infinite Solar and the Texas Trevenants. I do want to note out that this week is a post-com because I wasn't able to record last week when we did this match, but for all future matches I will be doing my absolute best to make sure that it is a live com. With that being said, let's go check out the matchup and see what we're facing. This week's opponent has a team consisting of 11 Pokemon that is filled with Aegislash, Blacephalon, Garchomp, Registeel, Xurkitree, Roserade, Clawitzer, Hitmonchan, Wigglytuff, Mega Ampharos, and Deoxys attack form. A couple things to note about my opponent's team is that his only hazard remover is that Hitmonchan. So if we can get Stealth Rock stuff, that's going to be really valuable to scout out heavy duty boots and etc. The 6 I'm expecting to see this week are Aegislash, Blacephalon, Garchomp, Xurkitree, Deoxys, and then the last one's a toss-up between Clawitzer, Registeel, and Roserade. My opponent does not have a Dark type, so Ghost is very good this game. On top of that, Electric is also very good this game. And overall, he's got it's a decent team, but he has no ground resist at all, or immunity, so Nidoqueen is insanely strong here. Anyway, let's check out our team. Leading off the team this week, we have got Luck, the Tapu Koko with the Life Orb item, with the Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam, Brave Bird, and U-Turn. Pretty self-explanatory. Thunderbolt is pretty spammable this week, except for Mega Ampharos and Garchomp. We have Dazzling Gleam for that Garchomp. We do require a little bit of chip off on that thing. If it's a bulkier Garchomp, we gotta get 30% off. And if it's a little bit less bulky, then we need like 10, 15% off on it, which shouldn't be too hard. We got the Brave Bird there for the Roserade. We got the Electric Surge ability, of course, so that we can be immune to Roserade sleep powders and to boost our own electric type attacks. That is a little bit more difficult to deal with the Xurkitree there, though. Though Nidoqueen is a very good wall with the Xurkitree. So we get the U-turn, obviously, to pivot. We are running Timid Nature with 72 speed EVs. That is enough to outspeed Blacephalon, I believe. And then just mixed defenses with 252 special attack. We are able to OHKO Roserade with Brave Bird with no attack investment and Timid. Excuse me, I need to sneeze. Ugh, sorry, I muted myself for that. Yeah, that's about it for Tapu Koko. It's an all-around pretty decent Pokemon. It's not here to win the game, but it is definitely here to break things down. Next up on our team, we have got Yami, the Origin Form Giratina, with, of course, the Grizzly's Orb, because it does have to carry that item. We are running Poltergeist, Shadow Sneak, Earthquake, and Defog. Defog is there in case Roserade does set up spikes and Tuck Spikes, so we can remove those hazards while not hitting the ground. Earthquake again, because it's completely spammable. Poltergeist, because it's completely spammable outside of Wigglytuff. And Shadow Sneak for priority, because it OHKOs Deoxys as well as Blacephalon. Levitate ability is really nice so that we can be immune to Garchomp's Earthquakes, though we don't take a Dragon Claw very well. We are running 252 HP, 252 attack, 4 special defense, and an Adamant Nature. Basically, in this game, it's just here to hit stuff really hard with Poltergeist. And that's pretty much it for this thing. It's really standard. We really are only going to be clicking Poltergeist and Shadow Sneak. That Shadow Sneak is really helpful, though, for Deoxys, because that thing with Nasty Plot could be a huge threat. Moving on to our next Pokemon, it is Mega Lucario, aka Asta, who is running Meteor Mash, Close Combat, Bullet Punch, and a little bit of tech in there, Foresight. So in drafting, I was looking at what could be consistent Mega Lucario answers, and one of them was that Aegislash, so I am expecting my opponent to bring Aegislash as his answer to Mega Lucario, but Foresight is a fancy little move that makes the target Ghost type no longer immune to normal and fighting type moves. And so, with Close Combat adaptability, it is a guaranteed OHKO on Aegislash. On top of that, Bullet Punch is a guaranteed OHKO on Deoxys attack form. And something really cool about this set is that Meteor Mash into Bullet Punch kills Blacephalon. That said, in this match, I think it's most likely that my opponent will either bring Scarf Blacephalon or Garchomp. Adaptability is really nice here because Meteor Mash and Close Combat, pretty spammable together. Registeel, I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit worried about, but then I realized I have a freaking Mega Lucario. I got nothing to worry about. It still takes a huge, 60-80% from Close Combat. So, This thing is all around pretty good. If we can chip things down just a little bit, it can win the game very easily. Moving on to our next Pokemon, we have got Magna the Incineroar. Incineroar here is our main answer to Blacephalon being able to completely wall it. We are running U-Turn, Knockoff, Flare Blitz, and Earthquake. Earthquake, because again, it's completely spammable. Flare Blitz for the possibility of Aegislash, as well as Roserade. And we got Knockoff there for her stab move to just remove items. Pretty standard. We are running U-Turn just to get extra chip and switch out. Intimidate's really nice for Aegislash, Garchomp, maybe Hitmonchan, and maybe the possibility of Garchomp or a physical offensive Deoxys, because that is a set. This is a really good way to deal with Aegislash and Blacephalon, and it's a good way to deal with some variants of Deoxys. This right here is why I love Incineroar, because it's really, really good at handling psychic types. We are running 176 speed EVs with Jolly Nature, 120 special defense, 76 attack, and 136 HP. This thing is here. We are able to outspeed, I think it's max speed, 252 speed, Adamant, Aegislash, and that's like the important thing about this. Flare Blitz does hit Registeel fairly well as well, and again, Earthquake is completely spammable. Moving on to our next Pokemon, we have got Vanessa the Nidoqueen. As I said before, he doesn't have a ground resist or immunity, so Earth Power is completely spammable. His best way to deal with Nidoqueen is to like get Garchomp in as early as possible, but we have Ice Beam and Substitute. So the plan is, if I don't think my opponent's going to leave Garchomp, which I actually kind of think he is going to, we are going to go for a Substitute, expecting him to go into Garchomp or Deoxys, and then we can bop one of them with Earth Power or Ice Beam, respectively. We got the Life Orb there, so we can stack that with Sheer Force, because if you did not know, for some reason, Sheer Force just removes Life Orb recoil. I really don't know why it does, but it does. And we got Stealth Rocks just slapped on there, because again, my opponent's hazard removal is entirely dependent on Hitmonchan. We're running 128 speed EVs with a timid nature again, so we get outspeed Aegislash, 8 special defense, 252 HP, 252 special attack, and 120 HP. Pretty self-explanatory. There's nothing super special going on here outside of Substitute and Ice Beam. That's really it for this thing. And then moving on to our final Pokemon, I was a little bit worried about Swords Dance Skill Shot Garchomp. I was a little bit worried about it. And then I realized I have one of the most amazing physical walls if it can't hit you super effectively, and that is, of course, Finral the Slowbro. Slowbro is great here with Ice Beam, Scald, Teleport, and Slack Off. We got the Ice Beam there, obviously, for Garchomp. Scald is just there for the possibility of burning stuff for a little bit of extra chip. And for a stab move, Teleport, obviously a -6 priority pivoting move, so that we can go out into Lucario, Tapu Koko, or Nidoqueen very well, and then we can force switches from there really well. We got Slack Off there for a little bit of extra recovery in case we got to sit in front of something for a little bit. And then we got the Heavy Dude Boots so that we can be immune to the possibility of Roserade spikes, so that we can continue to wall Garchomp as much as possible. We are running 252 HP, 252 defense with a bold nature, and 4 special attack. With a little bit of chip in there, Ice Beam is a guaranteed OHKO on Garchomp, but usually I will be clicking Teleport on it because I have really good switch in. Like either way, I can just keep switching into Slowbro if he doesn't switch out. So I am very happy with this team. I think that was everything we brought. Hold on. Yeah, that was everything we brought. That was all 6. So before we go into the match, once again, the 6 I'm expecting to see this week are Aegislash, Blacephalon, Garchomp, Xurkitree, Deoxys, and then either Registeel, Roserade, or Clawitzer. So let's get into the match. Right here, you can see my opponent brought everything I expected. He did not, however, bring Xurkitree, which is a huge relief, kind of, honestly. He brought Hitmonchan instead, which kind of makes sense. I assume it's going to be a Rapid Spin set with like Life Orb or something. Blacephalon, still expecting to be Scarfer. Garchomp, I can see it being a lead with Stealth Rocks, a bulky lead. Either way, though, I felt really comfortable with leading with Tapu Koko and leaving Slowbro in the back. Seeing Clawitzer, I realized that I did not prep for it quite as much, but then in the match, I calced how well Giratina can take a Dark Pulse, and it can actually guarantee live it as long as it does not crit. So we have that going for us, and then we have something to outspeed it like Lucario or even Nidoqueen. So that's really good. Going into the lead, once again, I will say I was focused on leading with Tapu Koko. I had no idea what my opponent was going to lead. I was hoping for either Clawitzer or Hitmonchan, but we can see here that he leads with Garchomp. Oh, I need to turn the music off. That is really loud in my ears. Sorry. So he leads with Garchomp here. We set up the electric terrain, and here I'm still not sure if it's Scarf or not, so I went straight out into my obvious wall, Slowbro. We go into Slowbro, and he goes for the Earthquake, and we see it does about 30%. It does 30%, which is really standard damage. We don't see Life Orb, so we know it's not offensive, so we know it's probably not Swords Dance Scale Shot. And that's really good news. Here I decided to go for Teleport, I believe, as he does switch out into Tyson the Hitmonchan. And I decided to go back into Tapu Koko because I know that Brave Bird will hit it really, really hard. We go for Brave Bird and we do 91%. We take a lot of recoil plus Life Orb. I realized after that I did not set Tapu Koko to an odd number HP stat, so we only take 9%, not 10, and that was a bit unfortunate. As we can see, he goes for a Comet Punch, pretty interesting. It's a multi-attack, normal type move. He only hits twice out of 5 times, though, which is a little bit unfortunate, but also really good for me. He decides to switch out and save it. I decided to go for U-turn just in case. We take an extra 10% from Life Orb. As he goes into Aegislash, and this I was not expecting him to go to Aegislash here. I thought he was going to try and save it for Lucario, but you know what? Fine by me. We go straight into Magna the Incineroar because again, it's a really good answer to it. We can take a close combat pretty well, and we have answers for Deoxys whether or not, or we have answers for Deoxys and Blacephalon whether or not we have this thing on the field. So I decided to go for, I think it was a knockoff here. Yep, I went for a knockoff, and we see that he loses his Focus Sash, which is interesting, as he goes for a Shadow Claw, probably predicting me to go into Slowbro. And I decided to go for, I think I just went for another I went for a U-turn here, just because I felt like he was going to switch, and I decided to go into Nidoqueen, my close combat resist, and we only take 18% of really nice damage from that. I decided to go straight for the Earth Power. I didn't want to risk setting up a sub and then losing a ton of HP to Shadow Claw. He goes out into his Garchomp again. Completely expected. I go back into Slowbro. We are at full HP because of Regenerator. He goes for Earthquake. It does a little bit more this time, so I know he's a little bit more offensive than what I was thinking. He goes for Iron Head. He gets a crit. It really doesn't matter. And I go for Teleport again because it's completely free. I go into Tapu Koko thinking that I now know that it's super offensive, so it's probably not going to have a ton of HP investment, so I go for a Dazzling Gleam. I go for the D-Gleam, and it brings it down to 98%, which is a little bit unfortunate. We died to Earthquake, but that's completely fine. That's honestly fine. I go out into my Mega Lucario, and we know it's not Scarf now, by the way. That's why I went to Koko. So we go for Bullet Punch just to ensure, and we realize that he is Rocky Helmet, and that's a lot of damage taken right there. A little bit unfortunate, but we can live with it. He goes into Blacephalon. I go, of course, straight out into my Incineroar, seeing as it is my best switch into this thing. He goes for a Psychic. Interesting, probably predicting me to go to Nidoqueen. And he goes for an Explosion. I was not expecting that one at all. And we can see here that he goes out into Deoxys now? He goes into Deoxys now, and looking at this, I really didn't feel the need for Incineroar anymore. It's done its job. It walled Blacephalon, even though it exploded itself, and it handled Aegislash really well. So looking here, I was thinking it's probably going to go for a Focus Blast. I have no reason to take any chip damage off on Giratina, because again, my answers to Clawitzer are a little bit scary, so having that thing to make sure I can live a Dark Pulse is really nice. So I decided to just let it die. He goes for a Poison Jab, so he is physical, and he gets the poison off. And I went for a knockoff just to ensure the kill, and we do kill it. We see its leftovers, very interesting. And we do die to poison. So that is 2 down for me and 4 down for him. And looking at this, I didn't know exactly what to do, but I decided to just go into Giratina because I know I can handle both of them. I go for Shadow Sneak, get rid of the Hitmonchan right here. He goes into Clawitzer. I know full well I can live a Dark Pulse, so I decided to go just straight for a Poltergeist and deal a ton of damage. We do a really nice 74%. We find out that it's a Life Orb, and he gets a critical hit, which is super unfortunate because I know he would have lived that hit had it not been for that. but that's okay because we can go straight on to Lucario and end this game right here with close combat. So we do end this week off with a 3-0 victory against the Infinite Solar and the Texas Trevenants. It was a very cool game. A little bit of tech in there that I was not expecting. My opponent definitely did play very differently than what I expected, but he played well nonetheless. With that said, guys, I don't know what else there is to say. I believe we ended this week off and tied for second place with a 3-0 lead. So we are doing pretty good. With that said, guys, though, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Shows me that I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys can do me a favor and go down to the subscribe button and hit that so that you can never miss another Lemonades video. It shows me that you enjoyed the content that I very much enjoy creating. Sorry about that, I hit my mic. With that said, guys, I'm gonna go. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.